Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We've started up again now that the fall TV season has kicked off. So welcome to my review of episode 1 of season 6 of Arrow called Fallout. And oh god, I can't tell you how horribly tempted I am to make Fallout 4 jokes because I love Fallout 4, but I'm going to try my best to refrain from that. And hi, there's an ambulance or something going right by, so sorry about that. Anyway, boy, that's annoying. Let's kind of get right into it. So we're picking up, as always, several months after the season finale. And, surprise, surprise, the only person who seems to have really died is Samantha. Well, I think we all saw that coming. Talia and Evelyn are MIA, but come on, there's no way they're not coming back. Thea's in a coma, but that's really just more a result from what I've read that Willa Holland kind of wanted to have fewer appearances this season. I guess she wanted some more free time or maybe to work on some other projects. But Thea's not killed off or anything. They'll probably just sort of keep her on the sidelines a little bit and then bring her back later on in the season. And, okay, fair enough. That's, actors have their own things going on. So, fair enough, fair enough. Let's just kind of get right into it. Nothing really particular to say about Felicity this episode. I do really like what they're doing with Diggle, that he's obviously got some PTSD from what happened on Leanne Yu, which, oddly enough, he seems to be the only one. But he did get his bell rung pretty good in that explosion. So it's nice to see that, a lot of these things are not things that can always be just completely shrugged off. I mean, what happened on Leon Yu should be extraordinarily traumatizing for everybody. But, this being something for Diggle to deal with, that seems like something that has a great deal of promise storytelling-wise. So we'll see where that goes. Nothing super huge to say about Renee this episode. Definitely digging his costume. I mean, it makes him look a little bit like Boba Fett, but I can roll with that. And honestly, the original Wild Dog costume was kind of dumb looking anyway, so I'm fine with this. Although, like I said, it does make him look like Boba Fett. In fact, it makes him really look a lot like a specific Mandalorian called Roland the Questioner from the Knights of the Old Republic comic books, which I'm a huge fan of. Let's see, what else do we have? Definitely really liking the look that they've got for Curtis and his Mr. Terrific outfit. Having the thing that Black Siren was ultimately after be one of his T-spheres, that's certainly very intriguing. Be interested to see where that goes. Diana, I think they did a pretty good job with her. It looks like she's picked emotion, and having her really just, her and Black Siren obviously just totally hate each other. That's cool. I definitely did like that. It's sort of setting up a nice rivalry there. I mean, my favorite arch enemies for heroes have always been like people who are sort of that mirror of the hero. Someone who's very similar to them in a lot of ways. Like Reverse Flash versus Flash. I mean, for that, like having someone who's so similar to Barry be his arch nemesis makes sense to me. With Wolverine, having his archenemy be Sabretooth. Again, someone who is extraordinarily similar to him. I mean, it just works for me. I mean, it's my particular taste, but that's what I like. And we'll talk a little bit more about Black Siren in a moment. I do like the way they've got things set up with William, although I'm just trying to juggle the timeline in my head. And it's like, William seems physically to be quite a bit older than he should be, but maybe I'm just doing the math wrong in my head. And I do like that, like Diggle, what happened on Leanne Yu has obviously been extraordinarily traumatizing for him. He's not doing such a great job of handling it. Oliver's trying to help it out. He's got I keep wanting to call her Rosa, but I know that's not her name. But the maid lady, the housekeeper, who we have not seen since episode 1. They did promise that they would bring somebody back from season 1, and they did keep that word. It looks like she's there to sort of. I wish they were, I'm not clear on this, if she's like just the housekeeper, or if she's like a full-on nanny, or what. But Oliver even then seemed to have, very positive feelings towards her. So I got the feeling she's kind of one of those members of the household staff who, kind of tried to look out for him as best she could. It was somebody who was kind to him when he was growing up. And I can understand why Oliver would reach out to someone like that to try and help him with William. And I mean, it was very obvious where they were going to go with the bad man thing, him blaming Oliver for everything. But it does resonate really well with that speech that Slade gives in that, being a father is not easy, and you're going to have to make some difficult choices. And then it all kind of comes to the head. Like, you're going to have to be face this choice of being the father you know you need to be, and meeting these demands that the life that you have chosen asks of you. And then he gets this whole moment where it's like just after he seems to really be making some progress with William, everything blows up in his face and he gets outed on TV. So it's going to be extraordinarily interesting to see how that all plays out and what comes of it. I'm very interested in that. Let's see, what else do we need to talk about here? Of course, the main thing here is the conflict with Black Siren, her just slaughtering the people in the police station, which, again, another time a bad guy goes on a murder spree in one of the Star City police stations. I mean, Renee's joke about, like, man, good thing we've got some police recruits to replace the guys that just got killed, was extremely bad taste, but it was an accurate observation. But I do really like that the show is clearly trying to say, like, look, no, we're not going to try and redeem Black Siren. She's going to be a villain because it's much more interesting with her as a villain. I mean, we see that this is an enormous thing for Quentin, and I mean, it's just something he can't really seem to get past. That this is someone that no matter who she is, no matter what she does, he looks at her and he still sees Laurel. And his guilt over apparently killing her on Lian Yu, and then, hey, what's up with the guy who touched her and apparently brought her back to life, and then just her own obvious, desire to get revenge on Quentin, really does set up a very, very interesting dynamic, and just really makes you wonder, well, okay, what was the Quentin on Earth 2 like? Is he still alive? What's his deal? Will we ever see him? I'd be very interested to hear, Black Siren's thoughts on his counterpart on Earth 2. What kind of man is that version of Quentin? And, of course, it begs the question, well, what's up with Earth 2's Sarah? I mean, there's just so much we can do with Black Siren if she's an enemy. It's much, much more interesting in my book. Just that constant knife in the heart with having an enemy who really, really hates you and totally wants you dead, having the face of someone that you love deeply. It's a never-ending knife in the heart every time you so much as look at this woman, and that's beautiful. Let's see, what else? What else did I want to talk about? Jeez, that's embarrassing. Let's see. Gee, I am totally drawing a blank. I do like that Oliver is a lot more calm, a lot more rational. He's out there kind of like saying, like, hey, I'm the king of beating yourself up over stuff that you shouldn't have. Try and learn from my mistake. Don't go there. Which, again, Oliver has kind of played that role before, but here it really seems to be a much more serious role for him. And I do like that he does seem to have kind of found, despite all the madness, all the pain, all the loss, he does seem to have found a little bit more of a balance in his own life. And of course, this being a good TV show, As soon as he's found this sort of new balance in his life, everything is set up to come crashing down around his ears, because that's what makes things interesting. And I've talked about it before many times in my other reviews, where it's been observed in drama stories that happiness is boring. Now, you don't want a story to be all doom and gloom. You don't want everything to be suffering. You want your heroes, your protagonists, to have victories, to have meaningful and lasting good things in their lives. But, it can't stay sunshine and rainbows for very long because it's boring. Drama is rooted in conflict. Whether it be physical conflict, political conflict, emotional conflict, there has to be a problem. And if you really want to drive it home, well, especially on shows like this, you basically constantly want everything to be coming down around people's heads, because that makes it just that much more interesting when the hero rises to the occasion and ultimately gains victory, but at a price. And granted, that's a very broad strokes way of explaining drama, but if you observe that, that's how it works. No, not in every story and not in every situation, but in general, that's just kind of how what is generally considered good storytelling works. The hero will have their world come crashing down around them. They will ultimately achieve victory, but they will do so at a cost of some sort. And then you will have some sort of a new status quo. I mean, this is how characters and stories grow. That's just how it works. So, all in all, this episode, I think, does a really nice job of setting up a new dynamic. I mean, we've got Black Siren. She's out there as a serious new threat. It's implied that there are people who are backing her who have extraordinary resources and certainly have things that are not good in mind for Star City. Now, I mean, I've read the casting news, so I have a pretty good idea of I know about, the big bad, what's going to go on in terms of major villains this season. And I'm very much looking forward to it. And then, of course, you've got the whole situation with Oliver's secret identity being exposed at the very end of the episode, where it's like, well, crap, what's going to happen next? And if you can walk away from an episode with the, like, oh God, I can't wait till next week to find out what's going to happen, well, then the show has been doing something right. So, guys, with that said, I'm going to call it here. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. And, of course, you can join me on Twitter at Hoosier Jedi and on Tumblr at Jedi Reviewer. Until next time, take care and have a good one.